Thank you. So, yes, and this time I was kindly asked to talk about automated disinformation campaigns, and this following talk is the short version, what it is, who does it, and how it's done. Do I have a slide? Yes. Okay, I made an easily understandable illustration of disinformation. Merriam-Webster dictionary defines disinformation as false information deliberately and often covertly spread in order to influence public opinion or obscure the truth. In the field of cybersecurity, we often use categories for threat actors based on the resources and skill sets they have. And that's on the left-hand side. On the right side, I have listed actors who spread disinformation. Based on the resources they have, I have placed them on the corresponding threat actors, or threat actor levels. The state, of course, governments, contractors, there we have higher trolls, bots, disinformation as a service. Organized crime comes to third, fake news websites, mainstream media, bots again, political parties, for example. Then we have a political hacktivist, and there we have conspiracy theorists, politicians, influencers, and the lowest level, individual crimes. And there we have independent trolls, individuals, and EU. Some definitions. A bot is a software application that is programmed to do a certain task. Bots often imitate or replace a human user behavior. Typically, they do repetitive tasks, and they can do that much faster than a human does. But bot itself is not malicious. It's the user who decides how it's used. Example of the useful bots are the index web, bots that index web content, or custom services bot. Examples, a malicious bot is a bot that breaks into user account. Disinformation as a service is a service provided by third actor that carries out targeted attacks based on the client's wishes. These services are not only used by governments, but also non-state actors and private commercial organizations. And a troll is a person who intentionally tries to stir up conflict in online media by using messages that provoke emotional response. We have already seen hints of automated parts of the disinformation campaigns, as I have mentioned both. But before we go a bit deeper on those, let's first consider the drivers of false beliefs. These drivers enable the construction of disinformation campaigns. This picture is from Ecker and the authors' report, and they have listed 6 drivers. They have cognitive drivers, intuitive thinking, cognitive failures, and illustrated truth, and socio-affective drivers, source cues, emotions, and a worldview. These findings, the findings regarding online content and political polarization in the report of social media, political polarization and political disinformation, fit very well the illustration presented earlier by Ecker and the others. In this new report, they found 6 areas for drivers of false beliefs. Those are there. The partisan cues can encourage partisans to accept and propagate inaccurate information. Group cues and usage of stereotypes can make the acceptances of disinformation easier. Emotions are important. Anger, for example, makes people too likely to trust inaccurate information if that supports their views. People are more likely to be affected by inaccurate information if they see several and recent messages reporting those facts, irrespectively of whether they are true. Viral mass-scale diffusion of messages is still relatively rare, And the last one, audiovisual messages can be both more persuasive and more easily spread than textual messages, but the dynamics, how they really work, is still need understanding. And just illustrate a little bit more of use of pictures. The goal of the campaign needs to be shown, and it's all easy to show in the figures. So here are 3 examples of that. Illustrations and videos that raises emotions, get attention, and also the disinformation that is placed on figures and videos is hard to detect by machine learning algorithms. That report called Social Media Political Polarization and Political Disinformation also considered tactics for spreading disinformation. They are these 4. Selective censorship involves removing some content from online platforms while leaving other content alone. For example, removing opposing parties' point of views from the discussion. One thing is that you can manipulate search algorithms to make sure the news story is more likely to appear during internet search. Tactics include, for example, adding popular keywords to promote websites or grouping websites by linking these to each other. On social media platforms, this can be done by trending topics and hashtags. A third tactic is hacking sensitive information and then leaking it, either in its original form or manipulated form. And then there's the 4th, which is perhaps the most important, is directly introducing disinformation on the social media platforms and then helping to spread it. Both bots and paid trolls can be played in important roles in manipulating search rankings, sharing hacked information, and directly introducing and sharing disinformation. And then to the finally automation part of the disinformation campaigns, let us also consider the 4th tactic, directly introducing disinformation and then spreading it. And I have divided the automation into 3 areas. The first one is identify people to target, other one is spreading the disinformation, and the third one is the writing the content. So targeting people. People receive the targeted disinformation based on our demographics and psychographics. Social media platforms collect these by having access to our profiles and archiving our likes, posts, comments, and retweets. Other applications on our phones or computers do similar data collection. On social media, some social media also have advertisement services. The customer selects targeting criteria and the period for advertisement campaign. And after the bill is paid, the platform sends the advertisement to people filling the criteria. Some social media share their data with other social medias or simply sell it. The platforms we knowingly give our data are called first-party data brokers. However, there are third-party companies whose real business model is based on collecting and selling customers' data. Let's look at those. So websites can contain scripts called trackers and webhooks run by data supply companies. When a user accesses a website that contains trackers, information about site and the user is collected. I have listed a couple of them. And you might also have answered a few online quizzes just for fun. They are also used for data collecting. Once data suppliers have collected this data, they usually sell it to the data brokers. Then data brokers process the data and create the new data object. And these new data objects are further sold to, for example, advertisers or political parties or even individuals. Collecting and selling data is automated and it happens fast. You can think that when you release your finger from the keyboard for screening after liking, sharing, or browsing to a new site, your info has already been sold. As earlier shown in the drivers of false beliefs, one factor was a correct source to use. This means that if the information comes from the sources that are either elite sources, belonging our own in-groups, or otherwise attractive source, we more easily believe the message. And here the bots and the trolls come in. Bots can be built to be an elite person or a group having plenty of followers, giving an easy distribution channel for disinformation. Bots or paid trolls can also gain access inside closed groups and can spread disinformation and raise emotion inside the group as a trusted member. Several bots can also spread the similar disinformation, creating more volume, which can give false truth sense for information receiver. Then I have writing a context part. Generative AI models like ChatGPT can of course produce disinformation. The report called Truth, Lies and Automation, How Language Models Could Change Disinformation, shows analysis that has been done for ChatGPT version 3. The report concludes that ChatGPT 3 has clear potential application to content generation for disinformation campaigns, especially as part of a human-machine team, and especially when an actor is capable of building the technology effectively. However, the researchers behind the report also mean that in order the text to be usable for disinformation campaigns, it A, must support a defined narrative, B, must not produce material that is clearly illegal, and C, cannot contain details that would easily reveal that information is incorrect. Thus, producing credible disinformation will be an iterative process between a human and a machine. There are other threat scenarios on how future version of generative AI could be launched to produce disinformation on a wider scale, but I'm not going to go there in this talk. And then some closing words. Disinformation campaigns are built like any other campaigns. One needs a goal, target audience, and a proper disinformation channels. Automation is not the main cost in the campaigns. What's cost in the campaigns is the planning of the campaign and get the needed pieces to the correct places before the campaign starts, as well as monitoring the campaign success. I have listed some bullet points there showing what needs to be done in a campaign. Resources of the campaign buyer will decide how much time and human resources can be used for strategic planning and executing the campaign. Therefore, the top-level threat actors are those who have resources to plan and run wide-scale campaigns. So if you remember back the second slide, the three first ones are those who normally run the disinformation campaign. Countermeasures and mitigation measures exist, such as finding and removing bots, content analysis by fact checkers, and users' media literacy skills. However, that is also a topic for another time. Thank you.